Hey everyone, how's it going? Eric here again with a video game review, this time of Sega 3D Classics Collection for the Nintendo 3DS. This is a compilation of some of Sega's greatest old school games, and they've been reworked by M2 to enhance the gameplay for the Nintendo 3DS, adding some really cool 3D effects for a lot of the games. Included in this compilation. And the games included are Altered Beast, which is the Sega Genesis version, Sonic the Hedgehog, Puyo Puyo 2, which is the Japanese release, Power Drift, which is a racing game that I wasn't familiar with, but is actually really fun to play on here, Fantasy Zone 2, which is beautiful, Thunderblade, which is fun to play, but I'm terrible at, Galaxy Force 2, which is another great game, and the 3D effect is awesome in that game. And then it also comes with 2 bonus games. It's got Maize Walker and Fantasy Zone 2 for the Sega Master System included in it as well. So definitely a really cool compilation. We'll take a look at some of the stuff included in the gameplay in a second. I'm sure you guys are wondering what all this stuff is. This is all stuff that I'm working on videos for, working on reviews right now. I've got some NES games like Ultimate Air Combat and Bases Loaded 3 because Ryan Sandberg, that I'm working on reviews, some Dreamcast games, got some more Neo Geo reviews coming as soon as it cools off and it's not so damn hot. I can't film in the garage arcade because it's just gross out there right now. And then also working on some Atari 2600 reviews. I'm going to do a video about Starcom, which is a really cool 80s cartoon and also line of toys. So lots of stuff coming up in the future. But let's go ahead and take a look at Sega 3D Classics Collection on the Nintendo 3DS. Alright, Sega 3D Classics for the Nintendo 3DS. So here's the packaging, and it's got a list of the games across the top, which is nice. Take a look at the back here. And we got some screenshots. And for people who don't know, this little rabbit here's name is Professor Asobin, and he was actually the first Sega mascot. Well before Opa Opa or Alex Kidd or Sonic, there was Professor Asobin, and he was featured in a lot of the Sega SG-1000 instruction manuals, giving tips on the games and stuff like that. And I think he actually appeared in some manuals all the way up until the Mega Drive, but those were pretty few and far between. But that's who that is, and you'll see some more of him in the game. Take a look inside. So, kind of following the trend with modern games, unfortunately there's no instruction booklet, but there is this rad sticker set that it comes with. So you get some cool stickers that you can put on your DS, and you get the epilepsy warning paperwork. And then we've got the game here. Let's take a look at some of the gameplay. Alright, using my daughter's 2DS to film since it's easier to hold while filming, and also you won't be able to, unfortunately, see the 3D effect through the camera. Here we have an intro that, again, you can't see but looks awesome when it's in 3D. And it lists all the games that are available in the collection. I love Galaxy Force, and Fantasy Zone 2 is an awesome game and looks beautiful in this collection. Even Altered Beast is pretty cool in this collection. Alright. So here we have the list of games. Power Drift, Puyo Puyo 2, which is an interesting puzzle game, Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis, Galaxy Force 2, which I believe is the arcade version, Thunderblade, I'm terrible at this game, but it's still fun. Fantasy Zone 2 is super awesome. Altered Beast is Altered Beast, but there's some cool options for it. And then also if you go down to extras, there's 2 Master System games also included, Maize Walker and Fantasy Zone 2, which these are pretty neat. We'll take a look at those as well. But let's take a look at Altered Beast. This is the Sega Genesis version of Altered Beast. But again, all of these games are they're not straight ports. And there's a Sobin, the rabbit, who was Sega's original, very first mascot, actually. Here's Altered Beast. Now what I want to do is go into the options here. There's this random... Did I just turn it on or off? Okay, I think that turns it on. That option, what that does is it actually randomizes the beast that you'll transform into. So let's take a look. We'll play through the first level since it's quick. Dang it. This game has not aged well, but when the 3D effect is enabled, it's pretty cool looking. Even this game looks pretty in 3D. There's also an option in the settings there to host a multiplayer game, which is pretty cool. So you can play 2 players with your friend who has a 2DS or 3DS. I'm pissed that I missed that white dog because I could be here fighting the boss. But now I gotta go through more of the levels of this level. Holy crap, the dragon in the first level. I'll just fly up and out of the way. Haha. Being able to play as the dragon in the first level of Altered Beast is almost worth the price of admission for this collection. That is just awesome. I want to see if we can wreck the first boss as the dragon. I think this is why everybody played Altered Beast, was just to get to the second level to play as the dragons, because that's the fun part, and they look so badass. I'll just sit here and rock this. Oh, can't get too close. Ah, welcome to your doom. They always look cool standing up too, the dragons. I always thought they're definitely the most badass part of the game. Anyways, let's check out another game here real quick. If we go to game select, we can pick another game. Let's do Sonic the Hedgehog, because this is another one that has a cool feature in the menu that you can turn on. There's a Sobin again. He gives tips for each of the games, just like how he used to give tips in the Sega SG-1000 manuals. So now if we go into the settings here, oh, it's already turned on. The option to turn the spin dash on. So if everyone remembers, the spin dash wasn't introduced until Sonic the Hedgehog 2. But here, we have the option of using it in the first game, which is pretty cool. Also, there's a stage select here, which is neat. But yeah, look at that, the spin dash in Sonic the Hedgehog 1. How cool is that? Ah, shit. I never was the best Sonic the Hedgehog player, as much as I love this game and the second one. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was one of the first Sega Genesis games I got as a kid. So as you can see, this is a pretty good, pretty faithful port, but again, it's been reworked, so there's all kinds of 3D effect here. Again, you can't, unfortunately, see it through the camera, or you wouldn't be able to see it anyway because I'm playing it on a 2DS, but if you play this game on a 3DS and you play it in person, it is pretty cool looking. Let's take a look at another game. Go to Game Select, and let's look at Fantasy Zone 2. Now this game, the 3D is amazing looking. This game is super bright and colorful, which is awesome looking. And also, if you notice down there, there's a coin stock. This game keeps a cumulative stock of the money that you collect. So when you start a new game, you can pick to start at the highest level you've gotten to. So I've made it to round 3 so far, but we'll start at the first level. And then you can also take money out of your coin stock and start with some money. So let's say I want to start with $10,000, so I'll take that out. And this is a really good port. We're going to go right to the shop. Let's get the jet engine. And I always like the wide beam. That was close. That's always the bummer about the weapons in this game, though, is they don't last very long. And we can warp to the dark side. That's the gimmick of this Phantasy Star game. Not Phantasy Star, Fantasy Zone. Phantasy Star is a great series of games, though. Phantasy Star 4 is one of my favorite RPGs. I should do a video on that series of game one day. But anyways, so yeah, Fantasy Zone 2. Again, this is another amazing addition to this collection. Let's take a look at another game. Galaxy Force 2. Let's take a look at that one. This game was actually the reason why I bought this collection. I used to play the arcade game, and the arcade I played it had the big environmental like cockpit version that you sat in and it like moved around and stuff. So I was, thought to myself, well, gosh, being able to play this in 3D would be pretty awesome. And it is. You can see just by looking at it that this would be a great game to be in 3D. And I'm going to play this terribly because playing it through the camera is not easy. But this game is amazing. It's kind of similar to Star Fox, I guess you could say, but this came out well before Star Fox, and this was an arcade game. But it's kind of the same idea. It's an on-rails arcade spaceship shooter. And it kind of has a similar gimmick to Afterburner, where you can lock on to the enemies and then fire missiles all at once to destroy them. And you also have a gun. And this is one of those games where it's definitely fun to just wreak destruction and blow up as much stuff as possible. Oh shit. Oh shit. You can also control the speed of your ship with the shoulder buttons. You can accelerate and decelerate. So now I'm hauling ass. Which is not a good idea to do through this section. And there's that classic Sega late 80s, early 90s voice. Here we go. This should be the end of the level, I think. I actually made it to the end of the level. There we go. Mission 1 clear. Let's take a look at one more game. Let's take a look at Maize Walker, which is one of the bonus Master System games included. Now this game looks really cool in 3D, and I guess this was one of the Sega Master System games that work with the 3D glasses. I'd never even heard of this. I'm not really super familiar with the Sega Master System collection. But the idea of this game, which is kind of cool, is it's a maze that you run around in. And you can grab the stick as a weapon. And you can jump too, so there's jump, and then you can attack the enemies with the weapon once you get it. And I haven't gotten real far in this game yet, so I'm assuming there's more weapons than just the stick, but that's the first one that I could find. Now here's the gimmick. When you go down the hole, you'll see me up here now. I'm down on a lower level. So you can see the 3D effect really makes sense here, and I'm sure it looked really cool with the 3D glasses, because the Sega Master System, it wasn't just simple red-blue 3D glasses. It actually had 3D glasses that used LCD shutters and plugged into the system. So it looks even more amazing, I'm sure. Again, I don't have experience with it, but it does look amazing on the 3DS. The 3D effect is just amazing. So yeah, that's Maize Walker, which is cool. And actually, I do want to look at one more game, just because it's a cool game, and it's another one that I wasn't familiar with. But this Puyo 2, which is a puzzle game, and this is a Japanese game that was only released in Japan, and it actually looks like this version isn't translated. So all the text is actually in Japanese, but it's still more than playable. And it gives you the directions down there. Now this game is kind of similar to Tetris / Dr. Mario / Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. It's a puzzle game with pieces that drop down. So the thing is, though, even when you play one player, you're basically always playing a competitive mode. You have to play each of these different characters around against the game. And yeah, you can see there again the text is in Japanese, but the game is still more than playable. So the idea here is to, I'm sure you can tell, match colors. And the bigger like combos that you build up, it'll drop pieces down on your opponent and kind of screw them over. So hopefully I can get a cool combo here worked up. Yeah, I'm not super good at this game yet. I've just kind of started recently learning how to play it. I'm not usually real good at games like Tetris and stuff, but this one's fun. The gameplay is definitely unique. Looks like I'm getting close to winning. I haven't even been paying attention to my opponent's screen over there, but it does not look like things are going well for him. I won! Alright, so yeah, that's the Sega 3D Classics collection on the Nintendo 3DS. I would definitely recommend it. It's a great collection of games. They're all fun. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to show them all in the video, but I did want to show, some of the ones that everyone might be familiar with, and also the fact that, a game like Altered Beast, which might seem boring to you and hasn't aged well, has, options added to it that make it kind of a new game, like the randomizing of the beasts that you morph into. So it's a pretty solid collection, and again, the 3D effect in these games looks amazing, especially on games like Power Drift, Galaxy Force 2, Thunderblade, which is a game I'm not very good at, but with the 3D effect added, it looks awesome. So I would definitely recommend it. I believe the retail price on this is $29.95. I found my copy at Toys R Us on sale for $24.95. Toys R Us is the only place I've seen this game, so you might have a hard time finding it you may have to resort to ordering it off the internet or maybe finding it in a used game shop. But I haven't seen it in a retail setting except for Toys R Us, where I went specifically to grab it because I saw it advertised in an advertisement. Wow, and I just lost basically this whole time. That was terrible. Wasn't even paying attention and lost. I'm sure everybody's watching the video and screaming. But anyways, yeah, again, thanks for watching. This has been Eric from Mad 8 Productions. Please don't forget to subscribe or hit that like button, and thanks again for watching. Hey everyone, thanks again so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also the like button, and also don't forget to check out the links to the social media junk down below. And if you got a few more minutes, why don't you check out my review of a Sega compilation where they got it completely wrong, or you could check out my video of the top 10 80s and 90s cartoons on VHS.